On this channel, we have made a lot of videos talking about Modern Warfare, whether it be weapons, kill streaks, or everything in between. But in the last couple of days, there was a new gameplay put out by Infinity Ward themselves, and on top of that, a bunch of articles put out by Game Informer about Modern Warfare. And between the two of these, there is 10 things you probably didn't know about Modern Warfare. These things include new weapons, new features, new ways of playing the game, and we are going to talk about all of those today. So hopefully in this video, I can show you some new things about the game. But without further ado, let's dive in and talk about 10 things you didn't know about Modern Warfare. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is executions. So executions are a thing that when you go up behind someone and knife them, you kind of have like a finishing move to take them out. And the default one that we've seen before is the one that you see on screen here.
HQ active. Move to secure.
Which is kind of similar to the original one that we saw at the 2v2 reveal live stream, but the only difference is the character was laying on the ground. Now in the new gameplay, we got two new animations for finishing moves, the first of which is with a machete, and both of these, as you're going to see, are pretty brutal, and then the second of which is actually with an axe, D-Day doing the damage. And it's pretty cool to see these, and what is actually going to happen is each character is going to have different finishing moves. You're going to be able to unlock them, and I'm assuming eventually they will also be in microtransactions, but this is the kind of thing that I'm actually completely okay with being in microtransactions as long as it's cosmetic only and it just changes the way things look. Completely fine with it. I also will want to get these things because some of them are pretty badass. The next thing we have to talk about is something we have talked about on the channel, but this is really the first time we've seen it with good gameplay, and that is the fact that you can see your teammates through walls. So this is supposed to be the thing that's kind of replacing the minimap. This is supposed to be your kind of awareness and being able to tell where your team is spawning, and it's okay. Based off of what we're seeing in the gameplay, you can kind of see your teammates through walls, but if they're too far away, you can kind of see really only the icon above their head, which was there before. Now, they did announce that this is going to be a little bit easier to see in the actual beta, so this isn't the exact build that the beta is going to be. It's going to be a little bit different, and I'm curious what you guys think about this one. Do you think that this is a good replacement for a minimap? Do you think it sucks? Do you think they should go back to having the minimap? Let me know what you think down in the comments. Really, I'm holding my decision to see what it feels like when I actually play it come the beta, but as of right now, I just want to hear what you guys have to say about this one. After this, the next one we have to look at actually has to do with realism mode. So this is the mode where you don't get a heads up display, you don't get hit markers, you don't get to see when any of the teammates die. However, they have implemented something new to the heads up display. You probably didn't notice because it's very minimal, but here's what it is. So you're going to notice as your character is playing here, there is nothing on the HUD, and then all of a sudden, a little white dot pops up in the bottom right-hand corner. And you may be thinking, well, what the hell is that? Is this a bug? What I think it is, they never actually show this for sure, but I think it's your specialist ability or your field upgrade, whatever you want to call it, in Modern Warfare, showing you that it's ready and you are able to use it. Because if that didn't pop up, you would never know that your field upgrade was actually ready to use, because as we mentioned, there is nothing on your HUD or nothing that pops up during this realism mode. So this little dot in the bottom right-hand corner is, I think, a pretty good substitute for that. Now, speaking of new things that we get to see on the HUD, we actually got to see a new kill streak, kind of. So what we're seeing here, if you look down in the bottom right-hand corner, you can see that he has earned what appears to be some sort of turret or sentry gun. Now, the thing with this is it's only a 3 kill streak. As you can see, he has hardlined on here. Now, with this kill streak, a lot of people are assuming that that's a very, very low amount of kills to get a sentry gun. I really don't think it's a sentry gun, and he doesn't actually use it in the gameplay. However, we do get to see it just a little bit in the original multiplayer trailer. You can see it set up here on the bridge, and as you can also see, it appears as though someone actually has to be manning the turret and shooting it at people, which means that this is going to be kind of like your own setup turret that you can put anywhere on a map. And for a 3 kill streak, I think that's relatively fair. As long as it doesn't kill people too quickly, I think that's a fair kill streak, and I'm actually looking forward to seeing some actual gameplay of this streak as well. And while we're talking about new things, I think the next best place to go is new weapons. So we really only got to see one brand new weapon within the actual gameplay, and it wasn't actual gameplay. It was just on the ground and he ran over it. And the weapon that you're looking at there is the FN FAL. So this is a semi-automatic weapon. I'm assuming it's going to be a marksman rifle within the game. And this is a weapon that I've liked to use in a lot of Call of Duty games, so I'm definitely glad to see this one return. Now that's the only new weapon we saw within the gameplay. However, Game Informer actually put out some more screenshots that have other new weapons in it as well in the menus. So the first one we got here is the P90. This is one that I actually got to use back in the pre-alpha back in May. It was really good when we got to use it, so I'm looking forward to using this one a lot more. The next one's an interesting one. It's the Car 98K, which is cool to see back in a Call of Duty game, but the reason why it's interesting is because it's not a sniper rifle. It's actually a marksman rifle. So I don't know if this is going to be a two-shot to the chest or how this one's going to work. The other thing that you may notice there is the FAL is not in the marksman rifles, so it's possible that I was wrong. Maybe it is an assault rifle. We'll have to wait and see. Moving into sniper rifles. So the first one we got is the HDR, and this one we actually got to see in the 2v2 gunfight live stream. However, we didn't actually know the name of it at that point, but now we know it is called the HDR. And the other sniper rifle we get to see here is the Dragunov. So once again, it's been a while since we've seen this one in a Call of Duty game, so it's cool to see the Dragunov once again return. In previous games, it wasn't really my favorite sniper rifle, but we'll have to wait to see how it actually plays. After this, moving into shotguns, the two new ones we got here are the R9-0 and the Origin 12. As far as the R9 goes, I don't know anything about this one, but the Origin 12 is actually an extremely fast firing shotgun, so assumably this one is going to be a fully automatic shotgun. And then finally, the pistols. The new one we got here is the X16. I believe it kind of looks like some sort of Glock, but other than that, I don't really know. So those are all of the new weapons, and all in all, this kind of brings our count of weapons up to right around 30, which pre-beta is actually pretty insane. I would guess that post-launch we are looking at 40 plus guns, maybe even edging towards 50, which is absolutely insane, and I'm really happy to hear that. So the next thing is an interesting one. This is probably the one that's most interesting to me on the list because I don't have an answer or an explanation for this one. So it has to do with the shotgun you're watching here. You're going to notice the first time we watch the character reload, he actually reloads putting the shotgun shells into the gun with his right hand. Later on in the gameplay, the next time they reload the weapon, they put the shotgun shells into the weapon with the left hand. So it appears as though this weapon actually has two different reload animations, which really has never happened before other than with fast mags on weapons. Now, the two options for this is either this is some sort of fast mags attachment, or based on the character that you're using, they're either right-handed or left-handed, and based off of that, the character is going to reload with a different hand. I think if that is the case, that's a really cool attention to detail that we've never seen before in a Call of Duty game. Speaking of cool features, this is one that I've seen and I don't think anyone's talked about, but it's really cool. So whenever you're playing an objective game where there's a bomb, you can actually pick up the bomb and run around holding it. Now, the thing that a lot of people didn't realize is that on every bomb, there is a heartbeat sensor. So you can actually use it to your advantage and play search and destroy or cyber attack a little bit more sneaky by running around with that bomb and avoiding your enemies and maybe ninja planting it. And I think that's a really cool way of doing this because you can't carry around a weapon while the heartbeat sensor is out, but you can be holding that bomb and making it so you can kind of sneak around your enemy. I thought that was a really cool idea, and I can't wait to see how this one actually plays out. Now, the other thing that we got to see in this game with weapons is the difference between an AK, a 74U, and an RPK. So this is actually using the same weapon, but with different attachments. So in the case that we're looking at here with the AKS-74U, this is just using certain attachments to change the weapon plays, change the caliber of the bullet, and similarly later on in the gameplay we actually get to see it as like an RPK version of the AK-47, and this is all just with attachments. It's not actually a completely new weapon. Now, the last thing we have here is ranking up. For the first time, we get to see what ranking up looks like in game, as you can see at the bottom of the screen here, as opposed to front and center. It also makes a noise if you listen here. Now, it's possible that that is the proper sound, but I'm guessing it's not. We don't get to hear the whole thing, but it's almost identical to that of Infinite Warfare, so I'm guessing that that will change by the full release of the game, but I could be completely wrong about that. So ladies and gentlemen, those are 10 things you probably didn't know about Modern Warfare. If I missed any or you did know some of them, feel free to let me know down in the comments below. Now, on top of all of this, actually technically it's not this week, later next week on Monday, there is going to be some more information coming out about Modern Warfare at Gamescom. Jeff Keighley is going to be interviewing some people, and some new information is going to be coming out, as you're seeing on screen here. The interesting thing about this is I'm guessing it's not going to be multiplayer. multiplayer. I'm guessing this is going to be a little bit more information about campaign, maybe even Spec Ops a little bit, which is absolutely huge because we haven't heard anything yet. Yeah, sure, there might be some more information on multiplayer, but I'm really hoping we hear a little bit about Spec Ops. But anyway, that is 10 things you didn't know about Modern Warfare. If you enjoy this kind of thing, we can do more of this in the future. So if you did, I'd love it if you could hit that like button. If you're new to the channel and like what you see here, we are so close to 500,000 subscribers. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Make sure you have notifications turned on. And as always, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. And until next time, peace out.
We are reaching for the stars, but we're making this too hard.